All right, what's going on? What's up? What's up? What's good in the hood? How's everybody feeling? How's everybody doing out there? As you hear the little beep beep, who got the keys to the Jeep? What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. We are here. We're gonna break some things down. As you know, the elections are, the midterms anyway, are soon to come. And as you know, a lot of people ain't going for the okie doke. A lot of people ain't going for the okie doke. Yet people are still trying to pull that okie doke. You know what I mean? And one person out of many is the one you see on the screen right now. All right. One of the Democratic ops. One of the Democratic ops, Warnock, keeps the door locked. All right. And we're going to show you a little something. We're going to break some things down. So, because I guess he's in competition with who? Herschel Walker, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Not that I'm rocking with Herschel, but Herschel Walker, if your people end up seeing this, you might want to say some things, especially when this guy here tweeted out this comment. All right. He put a tweet out. He had to put Reverend Raphael Warnock. I don't know. I might say something about that Reverend part a little later if it comes to me to bring something up about that. But anyway, it says, Herschel Walker, I'll see you on the stage in Savannah on October 14th. And I hope you reconsider your refusal to debate in Atlanta and Macon, so voters can see more than once the clear choice they have in this election. Well, do they have a real clear choice, Warnock, who likes to keep the door locked on Black Americans? Do you really, are you really the clear choice in all of this? Are you a real clear choice? Well, soon we shall see. Soon we shall see. You know what it is, man. You rocking with the best Thoughts of the Week podcast. Let's get it.
So for a family member has offered his condolences. Can the family find it in their heart to accept it? Do you accept it?
Hell no. The time for remorse would have been when my husband was yelling to breathe. That would have been the time for him to show some type of remorse or some type of care for another human being's life when he was screaming 11 times that he can't breathe. So there's nothing that him or his prayers or anything else would make me feel any different. No, I don't accept his apology. No, I could care less about his condolences. No, I could care less. He's still working. He's still getting a paycheck.
You're rocking with the best Thoughts of the Week podcast. Yes, indeed. You definitely rocking with the best Thoughts of the Week podcast. And yeah, let's put this back on the screen one more time right here. And don't forget, y'all support Marcel Dixon, man. Even if you're not in South Carolina, you can support him financially. because I think he's going to run again for District 6, if I'm not mistaken, up in South Carolina. So if you don't know anything about him, the website's on the bottom of the screen. Check him out, see what he's about. And if you're rolling with what he's rolling with, show him some support, man. Again, you don't have to be from South Carolina to show him, give him some financial support so he can have the finances to run those ads when he needs to run those ads and be in competition with some of the big wigs. You know what I'm saying? So definitely show your support for Marcel. All right. So we back to this tweet by the Reverend, put in quotes, Raphael Warnock. He said, Herschel Walker, I'll see you on the stage in Savannah on October 14th, and I hope you'll reconsider refusal to debate in Atlanta and Macon so voters can see more than once the clear choice they have in this election. And I said, really, Warnock, do they really have a clear choice? Like he's trying to say he's the clear choice. Like, again, like I said, I don't roll with Herschel. But if it's people end up getting a hold of this, you might have some ammo to throw at them. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, Warnock keeps the door locked on Black Americans. All right, and we're gonna show why. We're gonna show the proof as to what I'm talking about here. All right, we're gonna show the proof here. We're gonna show the proof on why Warnock keeps the door locked on Black Americans. So let's go with the first video. Or this is the first and only video. But let's set the stage real quick.
My question is, it seems that we're always dealing with the symptoms of the problems instead of the bigger issues. And it seems that's one of the issues that could kind of fix all the issues is talking about reparations. And we don't talk about reparations enough in this country. And the last that I checked, the House had gotten the HB 40 past committee, and as far as I can tell, that's where it stopped. And I know you're in the Senate, so I'm not sure what you can do about that, but I did just wonder what you could do to further that cause in America right now.
All right, so you see him pose the question. I'm gonna play it back again. Unfortunately, I have had a way where I can kind of pause and stop, but being that we are on mobile phone doing this live, it seems to be, it's kind of tricky trying to do it that way. So I can only play it where it plays all the way through. And it's only about a 2-minute, 10-second video. So you might find me playing it maybe once or twice over, maybe a third time over, or maybe not. I might comment in between. You know, I'm gonna play this all the way through one time, and then we're gonna talk about it, and I might play it again a second time, maybe with me talking in. Hopefully you'll be able to hear me talk through it. All right. So again, like I said, he's trying to say he's the clear choice, right? But what I want you to do is watch this video. For those who hadn't seen it, pay attention to the language, pay attention to the voice. I use the word inflections, but pay attention to how he tries to, in street terms, trying to freak the language a little bit. All right. Pay attention to how he works his words. And this is like a lesson for y'all also when you get in front of these people, these boule types and these bootlick types who are always trying to run game with the wordplay, the word trickery. Watch these videos so you can learn some lessons, and then you can point out and pick at them. Another thing I'll say ahead of time is that the guy who asked the question, let Warnock, who keeps the door locked on Black Americans, he let him talk all the way through. And I don't know if there's more video outside of this. And shout out to Nas Escobar 316 from Twitter. He put his little stamp on the video. So shout out to him. I don't know if there's more video where he kind of maybe tries to reel Warnock back in, but I wish this brother would have stopped him at different points But we're going to discuss some of these points too as well. All right. So here's the video. We're going to play it through while I get ready to get on this road and start driving. We're going to listen to the whole video. We'll be right back. All right. Let's go.
My question is, it seems that we're always dealing with the symptoms of the problems instead of the bigger issues. And it seems that's one of the issues that could kind of fix all the issues is talking about reparations. And we don't talk about reparations enough in this country. And the last that I checked, the House had gotten the HB 40 past committee. And as far as I can tell, that's where it stopped. And I know you're in the Senate, so I'm not sure what you can do about that. But I did just wonder what you could do to further that cause in America right now.
So there is a bill to study the issue of reparations. Here's what I'm for: equity and opportunity. And I wake up every day fighting for that. And I do it in such a way that I think benefits all of us. But when you look at the issue of healthcare, for example, if we can get Medicaid expanded, it would help all of us if we could get Medicaid expanded, if we could get a fix. But it would have a disproportionate impact on communities of color because the disparities are so great. When we invest in jobs, when we invest in infrastructure, when we invest in a whole range of these things, when we deal with the expanded child tax credit, which helps 97% of families with children. But when you look at the racial wealth gap, it will be a great help to communities of color and other marginalized people.
All right. So first off, like you heard me say it before in other videos, or maybe a video in particular when I talked about Stacey Abrams, you heard me say that all skin folk ain't your kin folk. All right? So all the skin folks ain't your kin folks. Plus I added, I said, I might have added 3, but I only remember 2 right now. First off, all skin folk ain't your kin folk. If you know what I mean, folks know what I'm talking. Some folks know what I'm talking about. They get the lingo, they get the slang, right? All the kin folk, all the skin folk ain't your kin folk. All right. Then I said that they are treating you like they want to be treated. Black America, they are treating you like they want, they are treating you like they want to be treated. So when it comes to vote, when it comes that time to vote, you know how they keep on deflecting when reparations gets brought up, and all you hear is study, study, study. They're doing a study. They got to do a study. We're going to vote for reparations for a study, for them to study reparations. But I'm going to show you here in a little bit, you know, Warnock's support for Ukraine. You know, he went straight on in with that support when it came to Ukraine. He ain't talk about study, 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 right? And then I heard something else. It kind of slips my mind right now. It was something else. He supported Ukraine. Oh, Asian hate crimes bill. Something in regards to that. He was down for that as well. He was down for that. So Herschel Walker, if your handlers are listening, you might want to holler at Warnock and see, let them go in on reparations, Ukraine, and that Asian hate crimes bill. All right, you might want to press them on that. Not that I'm helping you because I like you, because I don't rock with you, but these Democrats are playing games with Black Americans, and I ain't with it. That's just a fact. I'm not with it. So I'm handing you some points that you can knock on his head. You can knock on Warnock's head with. All right. So yeah, notice how he was asked about reparations in the video, and he went all the way around. He been around the world, and he talked about everything else except reparations. He talked about some child tax credit. He said something about what he's about. He's about equity. He said he was about equity. Let's talk about that before we get back into this video and re-look at it. All right. Whoa. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you can hear me. I don't know. I kind of went out for a sec. I don't know if you was able to hear me all the way through, but it's all good. Things like this happens when you start breaking down truth. Things start happening. So let me see if I can get it together here. I might have hit something a little too fast, maybe. It's either that or, some people were trying to mess with the stream. All right. Let's see. All right. This might be it. All right. There we go. Hopefully this will work. Now, this gentleman asked him about reparations, right? Isn't that what he asked him about? But Warnock decided he was going all over the place. He wasn't touching that. And also, while it's on my mind real quick, for those who are not aware, don't know about it, haven't heard of it, and for those who have, you just getting a refresher. There's this policy called the benign and neglect. I think that's what it's called, BENIGN and neglect. The benign and neglect policy, which pretty much states or means don't agree to give Black people anything, don't promise them anything, just kind of talk in vague terms. All right, we're gonna go over some of them vague terms as well. But that's pretty much how this puppet, Stacey Abrams, and a bunch of others get down. All right. Notice how he kind of sounds like Stacey Abrams. They almost sound alike when they talk. Now, if you see me do a few videos, I know I did a video here, and you also can go to my news channel, which you can see in the on this channel. You can click on it. What's the 411 News? I also talked about Stacey Abrams there a couple of times in the past, right? Don't they almost sound alike when you ask them, when you start pressing them about reparations and Black America, what you're gonna do for Black Americans? They start talking about everybody else and what they're gonna do, and they start using these code words that make Black people believe and feel like they're talking about Black people, but it's only code words that they use to make Black people think they talking about black people. So that's the benign and neglect policy, right? In a nutshell. So my man asked him about reparations. And what he talk about? RW is for Raphael Warnock. Raphael Warnock said he gonna talk about what he's about. He said he was about equity and opportunity. he skipped reparations altogether. He said, well, man, I'm about equity and opportunity. Well, equity for who? Warnock. Opportunities for who? Warnock. That is the question. And he pretty much laid it out in the video. But let's move on. He also said that he wakes up every day fighting for equity and opportunity. That's another little line they use. I wake up every day fighting for this. I think Stacey Abrams said that, and a few other Democrats use their lines. I wake up every day thinking about this issue. No, you don't. Stop your damn lying. You wake up every day waiting for somebody to put they hand up, you know what? That's what you wake up every morning, every day, so they can work you like a puppet. So your puppet masters can work you like a puppet and tell you what to say and what not to say. That's what you wake up for. Then he said something about, here's his other talking points. He's about health care and Medicaid for all. All meaning what? All people, all races, all ethnicities, all nationalities. Nothing about reparations for black folks, black people in America, right? Nothing for them. You know, he just deflected to that. Benign and neglect. Now, I said it's called benign and neglect, but I like to call it deny and neglect. Deny them anything and neglect them at all costs. Deny black Americans of anything they're owed and neglect them at all costs, which appears to be happening. It appears to be happening in real time. And that's what he's down with. He's down with that. So he deflected to forget reparations. I want health care, Medicaid for all. You know, I wake up every day fighting for this, right? I'm about equity and opportunity, not about reparations, right? Then he uses some of the little code words, disproportionate impact or disproportionately impacts. And I'm gonna play the video again so you can see what I'm talking about. It'll all kind of come into play then. And then he's using another code word, communities of color. So I want black folks to know when he and others like him, Stacey Abrams, and those others, white or black, or any Democrats, whatever race they are, ethnicity they are, when they use these communities of color, Kamala Harris, they ain't talking about you, black Americans. And I'm speaking to all black Americans, those who are old, civil rights age, civil rights generation and above. I hope y'all listening to this, and I hope somebody plays this for you. I'm talking to all of y'all. Stop going for the okie doke. Just like you try to tell your children back in the day about going for the okie doke, and then you fall for the okie doke. So now we bringing it back at you. Civil rights age group and above, and everybody below them, up until kids that are 8 years old. Listen to me. They using the word communities of color. They not talking about black folks. They making you believe that's who they down with, and they're not. So that's another thing he mentioned. Right? Then he talked about jobs. He down with jobs and infrastructure. For who? For who, Warnock? You lucky I ain't rocking with Herschel Walker, because you be getting spanked in the debates. I might have to push him to the side and step on the stage myself and take his place, or stand up there as an independent, not really running for nothing, but just to go up there and spank that ass. Warnock. Jobs and infrastructure. That's what he's about, right? Notice he still ain't saying nothing about reparations when the brother asked him about that, right? Right? Expanded child tax credit that helps 97% of families with children. But if you get reparations to Black Americans, you wouldn't have to worry about all of that, or they wouldn't have to worry about all that. Not even that, for the fact that nobody asked about that. You guys have seen the video. I'll be playing it back. Wasn't even mentioned, right? The racial wealth gap. Here's another play on the minds of Black folks, as if he's trying to make you think he's down for closing that racial wealth gap. Like, who's having the racial wealth gap? Who or not? Who? Will be a great help to communities of color, is what he said, and other marginalized people. Playing with the words again. Other marginalized people. I want y'all to get these code words, the games they play, right? The games they play. So, with that being said, we're going to go back over real quick. Listen to the video again. I might say some stuff in between. And then we're going to take a look at some other things about Warnock. All right? Before we get out of here. All right? So, let's listen to this video again. All right? Let's listen to the video.
My question is, it seems that we're always dealing with the symptoms of the problems instead of the bigger issues. And it seems that's one of the issues that could kind of fix all the issues, is talking about reparations. And we don't talk about reparations enough in this country. And the last that I checked, the House had gotten the HB 40 past committee. And as far as I can tell, that's where it stopped. And I know you're in the Senate, so I'm not sure what you can do about that. But I did just wonder what you could do to further that cause in America.
Now listen to him. Listen to what he's saying.
So there is a bill to study.
A bill to study.
Reparations. Here's what I'm for.
Here's what he's about.
An opportunity. And I wake up every day fighting for that. And I do it in such a way that I think benefits all of us. But when you look at the issue of healthcare, for example, if we can get Medicaid expanded, it would help all of us if we could get Medicaid expanded, if we could get a fix.
Oh, really?
But it would have a disproportionate impact on communities of color because the disparities are so great.
The disparities are so great.
When we invest in jobs, when we invest in infrastructure, when we invest in a whole range of these things, when we deal with the expanded child tax credit.
Nothing about reparations. He's trying to find something to say.
Which helps 97% of families with children. But when you look at the racial wealth gap, it will be a great help to communities of color and other marginalized people.
So what did he say? He ain't said nothing. He's playing double talk. He's doing double speak. All I want to tell is the folks in Atlanta, folks in Georgia, whatever, don't vote for this op. Now, you heard the video here. There's others that's played this video. You see for yourself him, and notice Stacey Abrams also used percentages too. Go back and listen to that video. Listen to the episode that I did with Stacey Abrams. And notice the little tricks, like I said, they use. Right? Look at the little tricks they use. They try to throw in percentages to make you think something is bad or good. They use these little code words to make you think one way. But if they ain't been doing nothing for you, why are we going to keep playing this game decade after 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 decade and after decade of voting for these fools, and they do nothing for you? But they're quick to jump on the bandwagon for quote unquote communities of color. They're quick to jump on the bandwagon for other folks, which I'm gonna show you here in a minute. Warnock. Y'all share this out, share this video out. Subscribe to the channel. All right. Do all that. Hit that notification bell too, because there's always, from time to time, people's subscription seems to disappear and not be there, and you're thinking you're subscribed, and so you might think, man, I ain't hear no videos from Thoughts of the Week podcast in a while. I ain't seen no videos. Yeah, because you got mysteriously unsubscribed. All right, so let's take a look at this real quick. Here's all the little code words, and I'm sure there's plenty more they're going to use, or maybe some that I missed. All right, some you heard on that video right now, a minute ago, on with Warnock. You got minorities. These are words that make you think, that the Democrats use to make you think, oh, they're really looking out for black people. Minorities, disenfranchised groups. You heard communities of color, but also they use people of color. People of color. All right. They use diversity. All these code words. They use the word inclusive. You might hear the word inner city. And again, like I mentioned, communities of color. The wealth gap, or racial wealth gap. I forgot to put racial wealth gap. Disproportionately impact, or disproportionately impacts. And then disparities. So there's probably more I might have missed. You can probably add it in the comments if there's some other words in there that I missed, or that you heard. But these are little code words they be using, right? To try to make black people think they're all for their plight, but they're really denying them anything in return for their voting for them. All right. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So let's get to the next thing. All right. Take a look at this from Senator Warnock. This is from him. The United States must continue to stand with Ukraine. I support the efforts already underway to bolster Ukraine's defense forces, including the provision of American defense aid. Right. I also strongly support the imposition of severe sanctions on Russia to compel President Putin to cease this catastrophic effort and to hold him and his allies accountable. So he banging for Ukraine, but he ain't banging for black folks. Just in case somebody says, oh, he wasn't down for Ukraine. All right. Look it up. Senator Warnock says, I condemn Russia's unjust military attack on Ukraine in the strongest terms. Their invasion is a violation of both Ukraine's sovereignty and international law, and the United States and the international community cannot tolerate Russia's choice to pursue a premeditated war of aggression. You see him banging for Ukrainians, but he ain't banging for black folks, right? He banging for Ukrainians, but he ain't banging for black folks. Let me just pull this in here. As you guys can see, right? See who he banging for, right? Let's go to the next one. Senator Warnock previously voted to impose sanctions on Russia's Nord Stream 2 natural gas pipeline in an effort to deter Russia's hostility toward Ukraine, and is a co-sponsor of legislation to help defend Ukraine's sovereignty. Interesting, ain't it? He can do all that without a big speech and going in different directions like he did when he was asked this question.
My question is, it seems that we're always dealing with the symptoms of the problems instead of the bigger issues. And it seems that's one of the issues that could kind of fix all the issues is talking about reparations. And we don't talk about reparations enough in this country. And the last that I checked, the House had gotten the HB 40 past committee. And as far as I can tell, that's where it stopped. And I know you're in the Senate, so I'm not sure what you can do about that. But I did just wonder what you could do to further that cause in America right now.
So there is a bill to study.
All right. There's a bill to study, but you know, when it came to Ukraine, he ain't go around the world with all these explanations, right? It's quite interesting how that works and how he gets down. I'm telling you, Georgia, Atlanta, whoever, don't put this man back in office. Don't put this dude back in nowhere. You almost better off letting Herschel Walker go in there and letting him implode. You know what I'm saying? Not that I'm down with him, so don't be talking about, oh, you down with Herschel Walker, the Republicans? Nope, I'm not. But the Democrats are the ones here doing the damage, and as part of trying to get rid of Black Americans, period. And there's other pieces of evidence to prove that, to show that. So we're going to move on. Not going to take up too much of your time. Let's take a look at this. All right, let's take a look at this real quick here. U.S. Senate passes anti-Asian hate crimes bill motivated by Atlanta's shooting. It was motivated by Atlanta's shooting, right? Notice that. Let's read this a little bit real quick. Let's get into it a little bit. All right. The U.S. Senate overwhelmingly approved hate crimes legislation aimed at reducing violence against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, and motivated in part by the Atlanta spa shootings that killed 6 women of Asian descent. Now, yeah, guys, bear with me. You might be seeing this nice and large and clear on your screen, but it's small on my end. So I'm having to try to make it big enough for me to read it. Because again, we're using the phone here, you know. I like to go mobile a lot of times, so I could do a lot of going here and there and doing other things when I need to. So just kind of bear with me, especially if I might read something wrong. These letters are small, so I'm trying to make it big enough for me to see. But you won't see all that from the back end. Thursday's vote was the result of bipartisan negotiations that produced a deal Wednesday night and ensured the bill would have wide support. Interesting. Listen to that. To ensure the bill would have wide support. The legislation titled the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act, which is the anti-Asian hate crimes, that's all it is. They're coding it. That was the first big test this congressional session of whether a priority of the new Democratic majority would be, looks like stifled, if I'm not mistaken, by the 60 vote thresholds to pass bills in the Senate. It was approved 94-1 with U.S. Senator Josh Hawley and Republican from Missouri casting the sole dissenting vote. It now goes to the House, where the Democratic majority is expected to easily pass the legislation when they can easily pass reparations and won't, and send it to the president, Joe Biden, who has already expressed his support for the measure, meaning the anti-Asian hate crimes bill. Here's the next thing. U.S. Senator Raphael Warnock, I'm going to say it again, U.S. Senator Raphael Warnock, one more time, one more again, U.S. Senator Raphael Warnock became one of the main champions of the legislation in the days after the deadly mass shooting. And they give the names of those who were killed, the Asians, killed at the spa in Cherokee County. All right. At 2 Atlanta spas that were targeted soon after. And guess who did the killings? A white dude, if I'm not mistaken. Ain't that correct? Had nothing to do with black folks. Right? The COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act, aka the Anti-Asian Hate Crimes Bill, is an important step forward in the federal government's efforts to help protect members of the AAPI, the Asians community at home in Georgia and nationwide. So they code it as a COVID-19, but then they tell you who it's there to protect. It's not protecting COVID, right? So it's telling you who it's protecting. And I'm extremely proud to have worked with my Senate colleagues to pass this critical bill and ensure that it honors the lives lost in the horrific March 16 shooting in Atlanta that spurred this necessary and urgent call to action. Warnock said after the vote, this is what Warnock said. All right, he said all that stuff I just read. When we don't stand up against anti-Asian hate, that's coming from Warnock, we threaten the safety of countless Georgians and Americans. So when they don't stand up for Asians, that threatens the safety of Georgians, which consist of black people, Asians, white, and whoever else is in Georgia. So if they don't stand up and get a bill for the Asians, all other people from Georgia is going to be, their safety is going to be threatened. But you only made this bill for the Asians. So if something happened to blacks, you ain't got no bill for no black people, no anti-hate, no anti-black hate, right? I don't even need to read more of this. Let me see if there's anything else before I close this back up. There's nothing else to read. You guys can look at it as I'm scrolling. Well, I'm not scrolling, but you see it on the screen. See the games they play, the trickery that Warnock, the words he used, he was all down for that with the quickness. But when it came to reparations, he wasn't with it. He talked all around that, didn't use reparations, didn't say black people one time in his in that video. Not one time. But you see, I just showed you what he was really down for, right? You see what he was really down for. This is Raphael Warnock. This is how this Democratic op deflects like a puppet. He's just a puppet. They tell him what to do and he does it. Or they put some strings on him and make him go through the motions. Or they stick their hand up his butt crack and they make him do what they want him to do. That's how Warnock gets down. All right? That's how Raphael Warnock gets down. So now you know. Now you've seen how he deflected. He sounds just like Stacey Abrams. They both sound alike in their talking points. And I'm sure you find other black Democrats doing the same moves with some slight variations, or they almost sound similar, because he and Stacey Abrams almost sound kind of similar when they talk. All you got to do is go back to that episode that I did with about Stacey Abrams and then come back to this again. Just play those videos. You don't have to listen to the whole thing. Just come back after you listen to this whole thing. For those who's watching it live, after you watch it, go back to the Stacey Abrams one I did and just play the video, and then come back to this one and play the video. And don't it sound, you let me know, don't it sound real similar to how they talk? They told what to say and do, and in return, they give them platforms and they allow them to have little things on TV, and they give them little trinkets. So, like, it seems like they're getting reparations already because they're getting things. And the people who looked out for them is getting nothing. So you keep in mind, and hopefully this has showed you a clear view of how Warnock, who keeps the door locked on black Americans, gets down. All right. So with that, I rest my case. Let the jury deliberate. I appreciate y'all. Be sure to tune back in. Subscribe to the channel. Tell other people about it. What's up to y'all who watching this on Spotify and or listening to it on Spotify? For those who are listening to this on all and any listening platforms, podcast listening platforms, I appreciate y'all. For those who are listening to this episode and others, give a review, man. Whether you're listening to Spotify, Breaker, Anchor, Overcast, Google Play, wherever you're hearing this from, for those who are listening to this, share this with your peoples. All right? Have them come listen to this. All right? So y'all know how Warnock and the Democratic ops get down. And again, I appreciate y'all for your support. Everybody subscribe to the channel here on YouTube. Let's get the subscribers up. Share it out. For those watching on Twitch, what up? Thank you very much. I have some issues with Twitter, so I got to find out what's going on with that. I can't get it to come on live on Twitter, on one of the Twitter pages here for Thoughts of the Week podcast. So it's going to be some delay on that. But everybody wherever you're hearing this from, Facebook, what's up? For those who are listening, for those who's watching it on Facebook, what's good? YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Spotify, all listening platforms, because you can actually watch this on Spotify now. They'll let you actually see the show on Spotify. So I appreciate y'all on that. Everybody who's listening to it, share this out, because now you see how Warnock gets down. And again, he sounds a lot like Stacey Abrams. For those who's in Herschel Walker's camp, you might want to listen to this, man. And I'm telling you now, those who's in Herschel Walker's camp, I don't get down with Herschel Walker. I'm just saying you might want to listen to it though. So you hear it from me. I done said it a few times. I'm just kind of letting you know. And for all the black folks who still going for the okie doke about these Democrats, the older ones in their 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, please stop going for the okie doke. The Democrats do not care about you. They do not care about your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, so on and so forth. Your children, your grown children, your great grandchildren, your grandchildren. Keep that in mind too. Because when you're voting for these clowns, you're also voting for your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, your children, and your future grandchildren, great grandchildren for the future. Just listen about what I said, all the things he said in that video, and the things I showed you, how he was down for Ukraine and the anti-Asian hate crimes with the quickness, but when it came to talking about reparations, he walked around the block on that one. All right. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all. I'm getting out of here. I'm about to go work out. The show again. We got another episode coming up. And that will be kind of interesting. You're rocking with the best Thoughts of the Week podcast. I'm gone. One love. Love y'all. Peace. I'm out. And don't y'all be trying to steal that beat. That's my beat. Don't be trying to steal it and say you created it. So I'm going to fight for that one. YouTube, I hope you're listening. Anybody use that beat, they stole it. One love, y'all. I'm out. Peace.